You can't delegate if you believe there's only one way to get things done right. Hey, welcome back. Jeff, Heggie, Daily Success Strategies. Thanks for being with me today. I want to talk about delegation. As entrepreneurs, it's one of our biggest struggles. Struggle to delegate. Why? Because we start everything from scratch. We start everything from the beginning and design how it needs to be done. We design how we're going to do it, how we're going to do it best, and no one's going to do it as good as us. It's a difficult thing to do, to delegate, but it's really a superpower. All right, I want to talk about this today, but first things first. Same thing we do every Monday is, what are you going to do so that on Friday you can say it's been a successful week and you're closer to your bigger goals? What are the things that you need to be accountable for? Make sure that you've got an accountability coach, a partner, a group, whatever. You're joining some way to make sure that you're held accountable and you do the things you're going to say you do. It's going to be one of your most powerful tools for your success. Now, if you're watching or listening to this on social media, just leave me a comment. We're going to talk about this on Friday and see if you did what you said you're going to do. If you want an accountability coach, send me a DM. We'll hook you up. But let's get back to the delegation part of it. I want to give you a story of my own experience with delegation. And I'm going to talk about it from a few different perspectives. But when I started my manufacturing company, I did everything myself. Like most entrepreneurs, you're either doing it yourself or you have a hand in everything that you're doing. And as we started the manufacturing company, I did everything from creating the manufacturing facilities, building the equipment, building the tools, buying the equipment, everything. The whole setup was something I did. Then I went and learned how to do the manufacturing. I brought it back, I implemented it, I taught people how to work in the factory and all of those things. Well, once that was all going, I was also the one that was the salesman. I was taking the orders, I was shipping orders, I was doing everything. And it got to a point where I needed to delegate. There just was no way that I could continue to do everything I was doing. But it was something I really resisted. Why? One, I didn't want to take the time to train someone. Two, I didn't think they could do it as good as me. And there was a number of reasons that just built on that. There was reasons why I couldn't delegate, but it got to a point that I had to. And it was actually surprising for me because when I was put in a position where I was forced to delegate, I made those choices, delegated the certain things, and accepted in my mind that it wasn't going to be done the same as me and it wasn't going to be done as good as I could do it. But the reality was I delegated it to some great people who did it differently, but they were putting all of their time, energy, and focus on these specific tasks that I was putting part of my time and energy to because I was trying to do everything. And so as they did that, the cool thing was they didn't do it as good as me. They did it a lot better than me. Their focus and attention was specifically on that task, and they did it better than what I was doing. And so it was a great learning experience for me. But one of the things that I think is important to look at, because if you really want to be successful, if you really want to achieve your big goals and be able to do a lot bigger things, you've got to be willing to delegate. And this I've talked about it a lot, the whole concept of who, not how. And the more you can implement that, the more successful you're going to be in the long run. But one of the things we need to really be able to do is look at the whole system of delegation. And we've got to be able to understand that it's going to be really difficult to delegate if you believe that there's only one way to get things done right. Now, I heard a great analogy with this is you look at any professional team. Let's look at professional basketball. You look at all the coaches in the NBA. You've got all these coaches, plus all the people that are trying to get their jobs, plus all the people that would be great replacements. You know, you've got hundreds of people that could fill these positions. Now, every one of these coaches is doing the right thing, but every one of these coaches is doing it different than the other coach. But they're all doing the right thing, and they're all trying to achieve the same end result. And so you see, well, for example, in football, a team I was watching a few weeks ago, they've been not doing great, and their defensive coordinator got fired after their last game. He was doing everything right. It wasn't working for his team. So they're bringing in someone else to take that position, and he will do things in a new way. It doesn't mean that the last guy had bad philosophies. It didn't work with that group, but they had to replace them with someone else. And hopefully it works out for them. But what I want you to think about is that, as you do these things, what you've got to be able to realize is that you can delegate to people, and they're going to do it different than you would. And maybe they're not going to do it as good as you would. But if it ends up with the same result, does it matter? I heard an example from someone, I believe it was Dan Kennedy, talking about one of his higher up employees, that when they were heading to do events, this guy was so particular about how things were packaged and sent to the event, all the materials that they were going to sell, all those things, that, the few days before they were heading out, he would spend all his time helping in the packaging, making sure all the boxes were right, all the packaging was right, it was all done correctly. Someone that, he was probably getting paid $120,000, $150,000 a year, something that a $10 an hour employee could have been doing. But the packaging was perfect, and when it arrived, it was perfect, no problems. But what he said was, after he was gone, and they just left it up to the shipping department to take care of these things, yeah, they would get to events, and maybe something was bent, maybe a box didn't look as good as the other guy used to do it. There was little things that were wrong, but the material got there. The material got there, and it was good. It got there and was in the same condition. The boxes looked different. It wasn't as pretty, but the end result was the same. And instead of having a $150,000 employee working on it, a $10 an hour employee was taking care of those things. So what are the things that you're delegating that you've got to be able to let go and say, I know they're going to do it different, but as long as they get the end result right, I've got to be okay with that. What is the most valuable thing you can be doing right now? What is the most valuable thing that you can be doing that's going to help you achieve your bigger goal? What are the things that you're wasting time on because someone else can be doing those? I want you to really look at what you're doing every single day and determine what can be delegated and who can it be delegated to. The other thing we look at when we start analyzing these things is I've talked about our not to-do list, and you can go back in previous episodes when I've talked about that, but the not to-do list is exactly what I just said. What can be delegated? Who can it be delegated to? And does it even need to be delegated? Do we even need to be doing it? Can it be eliminated? Are there things that you're doing that don't need to be done? So look at those things right there. And if you can eliminate it, eliminate it. If it's not having the impact that you need. If you can delegate it, get it delegated to the right person. It's the end result. If they're going to do it differently, if they're not going to do it as good, if you get the same end result, that's all that matters. Love to hear your thoughts on this. Leave me some comments, send me a DM, whatever you want to do. If you're in the middle of this and you want to hear more about my experience with the whole delegation, because I ended up doing a lot of it in different businesses, reach out to me. Love to talk about these things. Thanks for being with me. Be back tomorrow. Og Mandino said that the difference between those who have failed and those who have succeeded lies in the difference of their habits. Good habits are the keys to success. Many of the habits that'll bring you success in life are easy to do, but they're also easy not to do. I developed the Mindset Journal so that I could easily implement powerful success habits into my daily routine. The power of the Mindset Journal comes from knowing your top priorities and scheduling them into your day. The power of the reticular activating system and its relationship to your goals, your mindset questions, and your daily accountability. So if you want to implement some quick and effective success habits into your daily routine, go to jeffheggie.com/mindset journal and get yours today. I've always known that accountability is important, and I thought I was pretty good at it. But it wasn't until I started to work with an accountability coach that I realized the true impact of accountability. Hi, my name is Jeff Heggie, and I want to tell you about our Jumpstart calls. These are quick 10-minute daily calls with other high achievers who are growing and transforming together. If you're serious about your goals and you want to achieve more in the next 90 days than you have in the past year, this is something that you really need to pay attention to. What you are doing is important, and this is a group that's here to help support you in all of your success. Our Jumpstart calls are designed to help you create and sustain consistent momentum in your life and in your business that will ensure that you hit your goals. It's easy to get tied up in the urgent things every day, but when you commit to focus on the important things, you can move mountains. You're going to grow with us. We're doing this together, and it's important. A simple 10-minute commitment each day is going to change your life. So if you're ready for a jumpstart, come and join us. We're going to win together. Go to jeffsjumpstarts.com.